Episode 240. Back in the smoking section of Happy Internet Cafe, Yishu continued reading through the so-called Idiot Proof guides written by this player named Dim Light, one by one. The new server currently had 4 dungeons in total. Each dungeon had 3 hidden bosses, making 12 in total. For each one, Misty Light had written an ultra-detailed strategy guide, roughly 20,000 words long. Even with Yishu's lightning-fast mental processing, he still had to read every single word and line with meticulous care. Until Chen Guo came over to call him for dinner. He had only finished the 6th one. That's half of the 12 guides in total. Let's eat first. Chen Guo was utterly convinced by Yishu's obsessive dedication to the game.
You're really going to watch all of them?
Chen Guo knew this nitpicking game wasn't fun at all. It was a real brain drainer, a mental workout. He might not even be able to finish himself.
Let's just see how it goes.
Little Tang was killed this afternoon.
At the dinner table, Chen Guo suddenly brought up the matter.
What happened?
Forgot to log out. My character got PK'd out in the wild.
The person in question, however, was calmer than Chen Guo.
The killer's name is Zero Breakthrough, a level 33 magic swordsman. Pay attention to this.
Chen Guo remembered it even more clearly than Tang Ru. She gave a pointed introduction to that murderer.
Alright, got it. If I run into him, I'll definitely kill him right back.
Chang Ru nodded, then changed the subject.
Did you figure anything out from those guides? Him.
Given the time since the server launched, I doubt he has many accounts to farm dungeons with. And I don't think there's been enough time for him to study every hidden bosses in such minute detail. I suspect he hasn't actually killed many hidden bosses himself. He's probably pieced this together from old guides and video footage, and finally pieced together this foolproof, step-by-step guide. No way. If that's the case, this guy really is an incredible rookie.
And yet, this guide he wrote purely from imagination was completely flawless.
That's exactly why I said he's amazing.
I can't believe it.
Yeah, finished eating. I've still got half of them left to pick a fight with.
Yishu finished his meal quickly, got up, and hurried back to continue studying the guide, page after page. Yishu read every single word. He grew even more certain of his deduction. From the many insufficiently polished details in these guides, Yishu inferred that the author's practical experience was quite limited. These 12 sets of guides, in truth, they were just bold imaginings he'd formed after mastering the theoretical knowledge. But his imagination was sound, logical, and feasible. That's precisely what made this guy remarkable. But after reading the final guide, Yishu was now completely certain. The 12 guides had no major mistakes, but the flaws in the small details completely exposed the author. What kind of player is this Mi Guang? Yishu already had a clear picture in his mind. Yishu was very interested in this person. After closing the guide, he checked the time. It was almost 11. His shift was about to end. He quickly shut down his terminal and hurried to the front desk. It was the weekend, so naturally there were plenty of guests planning to pull an all-nighter. The front desk was busy for a while. By the time Yishu finally sat down quietly, it was already 11:30. Tang Ru had already gone to her usual spot. The two logged into the game almost simultaneously. Yishu immediately searched for Misty Light's name, but the character was still offline. Yishu sent a friend request and left it at that. A quick glance at his friends list showed Su Maocheng and Qiao Yifan were still offline, but Steamed Bun Invasion had already logged in. He sent messages to Tang Ru and Steamed Bun Invasion, calling for everyone to gather at the dungeon entrance. After receiving replies from Tang Ru and Baozi, Yishu's Lord Grim promptly left Kangji City, heading straight for the One Line Valley dungeon. Lord Grim logged in, left the city, and headed for One Line Canyon. Han Yanru logged in and headed for One Line Gorge.
The character is still in critical condition.
Bangni Invasion emerged from the arena and headed out of the main city. Unbeknownst to the trio, their movements were already being watched. Word of their whereabouts was silently spreading through the shadows. 1141.
In the glazed lands, at coordinates 125, 61475, Windward Mist has logged in.
1140. At glazed lands, coordinates 125414661 Ash has logged in. New messages were also spreading one after another. At 1150, Yeshu's Lord Grim raced toward One Line Gorge. The hour just before midnight was still lively, with many players like him eagerly heading out to grind, waiting for their dungeon attempts to reset. Many players were rushing along the same path. Yi Xiu had already contacted Suma Cheng and Qiao Yifan. Both had logged off directly in the glazed lands, so when they logged back in, they headed straight for One Line Gorge. Though they arrived later, they were actually much closer than if they'd had to travel all the way from Kangji City. The wilderness outside Kangji City was desolate, dotted with scattered low-level monsters around level 30. However, this wasn't a proper grinding zone. The monster respawn rate and density were far too low to meet a player's leveling needs. Aside from specific quest objectives, no one bothered fighting the monsters here. The road through the outskirts forked ahead. The left path led to the glazed lands, a gathering place for drifters. The right led to the desolate, uninhabited One Line Gorge. At this point, a player's level is pretty much on display. Head left and you're under level 30. Head right and you're 30 or above. In Server 10, these players above level 30 are the high-level crowd. Lord Grim naturally fell into this category. At the fork, he turned right. Coincidentally, the several player characters walking beside him all did the same. The high-level crowd also turned right here, heading down the path ahead. Several players were even approaching Kangji City from the direction of One Line Gorge. At this hour nearing midnight, in this hour when everyone was rushing to the leveling zones to prepare for dungeons, these few characters, moving against the tide, stood out like a sore thumb. They were a line of 8. 4 on the left, 4 on the right. They advanced side by side, coming straight this way. At first glance, they looked like a flock of geese flying in a V formation. The characters who had been traveling together had, without him noticing, already dispersed to surround Lord Grim. Yeshio suddenly realized something was wrong. Lord Grim came to an abrupt halt. The many characters around him, as if receiving a unified command in that instant, all came to a sudden simultaneous halt.